Hi there, this is video 723. It's the second one of our applications. One of the really common applications is some kind of jumping or any kind of a thing that looks like art. This also works if you're shooting a cannonball out of a cannon or something like that. It'll always form that arc. So in this case, the skier's coach used a picture, this one, to determine the quadratic function that relates the skier's height above the ground, h, measured in meters, to the time in seconds that the skier was in the air. So there's our formula. You're going to see this negative 4.9 t squared a lot of times anytime you have something that's up in the air, because this is actually the force of gravity, acceleration due to gravity. So this is pulling you down. Just saying, just a bit of physics coming at you. All right, so I'm going to do, I don't know how well we'll be able to see this. I'm trying to be lazy, not having to draw my parabola. And how bad is that? Yeah, no. Never mind. There's my parabola. So, unlike the last one where I tried to leave enough room, this one's just got all the questions together and we'll just do them underneath. At what height, what was the height of the skier at 0.5 seconds? Okay, so it's giving me a time. So all I need to do is plug that number into there and I can work it out. So number one, h is equal to negative 4.9 t squared plus 15t plus 1. So height is equal to negative 4.9. And everywhere we see a t, we're going to put in a 0.5. Plus 15 times 0.5 plus 1. Hold that thought, guys. Hi there. Sorry about that. Yeah, you know, my co-host Jellybean in my lab was just being noisy, so I didn't get rid of her. I gave her a treat, so she should be quiet for a while. So 0.5 squared is going to be 0.25. Plus 15 times 0.5 is going to give me 7.5 plus 1. I have no idea what that is. Where can I put that? Oh, it goes over there. You can see it there. So 4.9 times 0.25, 1 negative 1.225 plus 7.5 plus 1. So height is equal to 7.275 meters. Okay. Well, what was the height of the skier at 2 seconds? Well, it's going to be exactly the same question, except I'm going to use a 2. I'm going to be good. Part of me says, why am I recopying it? Well, you know what? I want to get this right. Oops, 4.9. And I want 2 seconds now. Sorry, move that up so we can see. 2 squared plus 50 times 2 plus 1. 4 plus 30 plus 1. 4.9 times 4, 19.6 plus 31. So h is, notice I just was lazy there. I just did them in opposite order. So even though the calculator shows it's a negative, I know it's a positive. 11.4 meters. All right. At what times, okay, so there's a hint there. At what time? So now we're looking for the T. Was he 7 meters above the ground? Well, this is height. So on this question, let's put it over here. We're going to be putting in the 7 where the H is, and then we're solving for T. So we've got 7. Do it right. Always lead by example. So we put the 7 in where the H is. Negative 4.9 T squared plus 15T plus 1. Okay, so when we're solving this, we never quite did this before. When we were solving, we said, well, you had to have the y on one side of the equation, everything else on the other side. In this case, what you do is you actually solve this. You make the equation equal to 0, and then you can use a quadratic on it. So I'm going to subtract 7 and subtract 7. So 0 is equal to negative 4.9 t squared plus 15t minus 6. So now A is equal to negative 4.9, B is equal to 15, and C is equal to minus 6. Minus 4AC, all divided by 2A. And now we just plug stuff in. So minus B, so minus 15 plus or minus the square root of B squared, so that's 15 squared minus 4 times A, which was negative 4.9, times C, which was minus 6. And all of that is going to be over 2 times negative 4.9. It's a good thing we're using a calculator to do this. And hold on, something came up. All right, I'm back. Sorry, been disrupted. I'll blame it all on my sweet little dog. All right, so 15 plus or minus the square root of 15 squared. I think that's 225. Oopsies. 15. Yep. And then I need to go 4 times 4.9 times 6. And minus 6. I'll do it over 2 times 4.2 times 4.9, 9.8. X is equal to minus 15 plus or minus. Okay, so 225 minus 117.6 107.4 over 9.8. And look how I missed the negative there. Oopsies. So we can all see. That's going to be minus 15 plus or minus. Now I'll take the square root. Let's go 10.4. It's 10.36 over 9.8. It's negative. So x is equal to, okay, so minus 15 plus 10.4 over negative 9.8, or x is equal to minus 15 minus 10.4 over negative 9.8. Right, so minus 15 plus 10.4 I'm going to divide it by 9.8 because you know what? I'm running out of room. Divide by 9.8. Whoops, that should have been a negative 9.8. So my answer actually here is positive. So 4, rounding to 1 decimal place, is 0.5. Okay, and then we've got negative 15 minus 10.4, which makes it more negative. And then I'm going to divide by negative, remember that this time, 2.59, 2.6. Okay, so after all that work, it tells me that at 0.5 seconds and at 2.6 seconds, way back up to the question, that's when the times that he was 7 meters off the ground. So watch for that. Sometimes you just get to plug it in with, and it's super simple. So if I'm asking for the height of the skier at a certain time, you can just plug the t in for time. If you're asking when he is at a certain height, then you have to use a quadratic. Okay, so you take your equation, it says at 7 seconds, that's where the 7 came from, and then you move that over because you can only use a quadratic when it's either y equals or it's 0 equals. All right, question 4. What was the maximum height? Okay, maximum height and the time he was at the maximum height, that's going to be at the vertex. So we need to do vertex, so P is equal to minus B over 2A. So P is going to be minus 15 over 2 times negative 4.9. So P is going to be minus 15 over minus 9.8. 1.53, so 1.5. So that is the equivalent of our x. So this is our t. And you can hear that Miss Bean is telling us a sad story. That life is hard when you're a dog. Now we're going to take this number and we're going to put it in there. Negative 4.9 times 1.5 squared plus 15 times 1.5 plus 1. There's one more small one. I thought I had enough room on this page. All right, so 1.5 squared is equal to 2.25. Plus, oh, you can't see over there. Got to be over here. I'm up there. Nope. 15 times 1.5, 22.5 plus 1. Is equal to 4.9 times 2.25 is 11.025. Negative 11.025 plus 22.5 plus 1. Enough. Stop. So 11.025 plus, nope, minus 11.025 plus 22.5 plus 1. So after all that work, 12.475. And if you will forgive me to pause again. All right, let's go. Come on. Give me the bus bucket. You know what's in these ones? Can you smell it already? Like those. Okay, come on. What's that? Good.
You've got water, you've got food. Go lay down. I'm gonna put you in your crate.